Hello, my name is Ruth Nelson, and welcome to this week's Master Coaches Wednesday Weekly Buzz and our after show, Buzz Reaction, both hosted by John Foreman. Our most recent guests provided us their thoughts on one of the hottest topics in volleyball, athlete surveys, and how coaches can be proactive in developing a protocol that is productive with their administration, and suggestions on how coaches can maintain a system that provides year in and year out success. Check out last week's Buzz with Molly Alvey and Deetra Collins-Parker on our YouTube channel. Now, our newsflash. Well, our crystal ball did a great job of predicting. Dead period is now extended until April 15th, 2021 for D1 coaches. That means D1 coaches will not have been out recruiting for over a year. Wow. Junior college options is now a reality, and many athletes might be choosing JC or even maybe NIA, D2, or D3, which allows them to stay closer to home and making a decision sooner than April 15th. Knightcommission.org has great information on name, image, and likeness, and most recently, their committee's suggestions on transforming the NCAA D1 model, which included the state of athletics finances, an analysis of national revenue distributions from marquee events, and a view of Division I leaders on problems and remedies for strengthening college athletics. Please note, you will see a Master Coaches AVCA code, 2020 MASTCH, listed at the bottom of our screens during our show. We will provide all the details on this special offering at the end of our show and after our Buzz Reaction show. Did you know today will feature Brian Gemolero, Bob Bertucci, and Mick Haley. All will be providing an overview of each of their sessions at the upcoming AVCA Virtual Convention and a discussion on why AVCA is critical for coaches at all levels. Let's now take a sneak preview of our recent Master Coaches promo video of why you should register today. Hi, my name is Ruth Nelson, and I will be joining Master Coaches Mick Haley, Bob Bertucci, and Brian Gemolero during their presentations for this year's AVCA Virtual Convention. The American Volleyball Coaches Association will offer this year's convention and volleyball marketplace as a virtual event. The dates are December 16th through the 19th. Convention attendees will be amazed at the depth and breadth of education that will be offered in an online setting with over 100 hours of instruction and at the right price. This event will open opportunities for so many coaches who have never been able to experience an AVCA convention. This 4-day event is priced at $249 for AVCA members and $349 for non-members registering by the early bird deadline of November 6th. The pre-convention seminar as well as the learning labs are a great way to have the first choice in small group sessions. Master Coaches will be presenting at 3 different times during the convention, and the following video clips will give you a sneak preview.
Okay, so if you get like this, right, you really have trouble taking the ball there.
No, step. Let's go this way. Step. Now, if it's from the knee or below, we can start to manipulate the ball.
A step and a hop. So it's just going to be a step and hop. This is probably the most efficient movement you can make to adjust in a medium distance.
The convention will also feature presentations from many international coaches as well as our top coaches in the United States, including USA national team coaches, NCAA championship coaches, AVCA club directors and coaches of the year, high school coaches of the year winners, beach coaches, as well as Olympians. The program will feature the same extensive access to coaching education, career development programming, vendor engagement, and celebration of our sport that AVCA convention attendees have come to expect. This will be the most informative convention ever. Please join us as we hashtag Volley On into 2021. Okay, everybody should be excited to register today. All right, so let's head over to Austin, Texas, where AVCA Hall of Famer Mick Haley, who will provide his perspective on the 2020 AVCA Virtual Convention and any updates on what sessions may still be open. Mick.
Well, Ruth, sorry, I always feel guilty when you do this because you always point out all the accolades for myself and Brian and Bob, but you never mention your own. So I'm going to go back through yours. And I've added one. And the one I'm going to start with is now you're a big-time internet producer. As all of the material you see is produced by Ruth Nelson, and this is individually learned. So this is quite a project. Besides, she was an assistant national team coach and national team player. She also was a head coach of both the World University Games and the junior national team. She took 3 of her teams to the Final Four in the AIAW tournaments, and she was a 5-sport athlete. Besides that, she is honored in 3 Hall of Fames, and she has over 500 career wins in 16 years of being a head coach at 3 different Division I schools, and she holds a master's degree. So that's a pretty big order, Ruth, and thank you very much for the introduction. But let's talk about your volleyball association, the AVCA. If you're a coach at any level, you should be an active member of the AVCA. And I tell you this very sincerely. I was the first president of the Collegiate Volleyball Coaches Association, and we fought so hard to get an association started. Terry Liskevich, Andy Banikowski really put the program together with Sharon McAlexander and then brought me in as first president to try to tie the whole country together. The AVCA looks over our sport. It makes us relevant, and it puts us up there with men's football, men's basketball in that we get on TV, and we do that through an organized manner of getting all the associations and people together that do these things. And the AVCA is the place that's organized. Kathy DeBoer, the AVCA executive director, is our czar of volleyball. And Lee Feinswag once said, we needed a czar of volleyball. And I said, we have one. Kathy DeBoer does almost everything that we need from a czar in the way of leadership. She speaks for us at every level, men's, women's, collegiate, high school, club, and is our voice to the FIVBA, the USAB, the JVA, NC2A, and almost every other group that deals with our sport. She runs $2 million operation, and this year, and I don't think many people know that she is agreed. Actually volunteered to work for free. She's running our association with no salary because she does not want to cut people from the operation that provides so many accolades and opportunities for people in our sport. So she's done that, and really, we get our funding from 3 sources. It's the most amazing thing to me that we can run an association with getting funding from just 3 sources. First is a membership. If you're a coach out there at any level, you need to join the AVCA. We need 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 members constantly, but there's something there for everybody, and that's why you should join. Secondly, the convention. The convention pays for almost 40 to 60% of our entire operation, and going to the big convention, signing up for the convention is not only something you should do for what you're going to get out of it, but something you should do to support volleyball in general across the country, and for collegiate volleyball for sure, but for also junior club and high school volleyball. And then the last way we get money in the association is sponsorships. And there may be a few dollars trickle in from some other places, but those are the 3 major revenue sources. If you had a friend or a player or you as a coach have ever had an honor bestowed on you probably in some way the AVCA has been involved. And when we started this, we had no way to have all Americans, to have high school Americans, to recognize academic all Americans. You can't believe how many things the AVCA does in their way to support our sport and support you. So I'm pleading, very strongly for you to consider getting involved. One, renewing your membership. That's absolute must. And two, if at all possible, enroll in the virtual convention. Now, the virtual convention is really unique for the first time, and COVID has put us in this situation. DeBoer and her staff did not back down to COVID. They took it on, and they developed a way that you can get over 100 hours of instruction at with the most amazing coaches that I've ever seen. This lineup is just terrific. There's never been a convention like this put on. And the way that they've used the mechanisms that you saw Ruth do, producing things on the internet, it is so amazing what I've seen. If you feel like you can't do this, then I would suggest you strongly consider this to be your Christmas present. If somebody's going to give you a Christmas present, have them give you a convention present. If you're going to give yourself a present, think about the convention, because there's two things. You're going to help volleyball and the AVCA, and you're going to help yourself, because you will get 100 hours. I mean, think about this, 100 hours of instruction and information that you can't get out of books or any place else. So I think it's a great opportunity. And just to highlight just real quickly some things I think that you need to understand that's going to happen in this convention. You're going to get skills training at every level. You're going to have panel discussions. You have video analysis. You've got mental training. You've got beach instruction. You've got practice planning. You've got scouting, team building. And that's just a few of the things that are available. There are another 15 or 20 things. Plus, you get international coaches. You get national team coaches. You get our top collegiate coaches. You get some of our top high school and club coaches making these presentations. And then we have people come to this convention that are making presentations that are not part of our sport, but are sharing things with our sport that can make us better. So I really am pushing strongly for all of you to think about this. MasterCoaches, we're donating 4 presentations ourselves, and yet we have all registered as members, and we have all registered for the convention. That's how strongly we feel about this. So I'm pretty excited about these 4 major conventions, and it's time for me to probably shut up.
Oh, Mick, before you completely shut up.
We're all thinking that, Mick. We're all thinking that.
I mean, you talked about, the different presentations, and like you said, MasterCoaches are doing 4 presentations at this clinic. You're doing one on passing. So why don't you let the viewers hear a little bit about your passing presentation to give them an idea, and I think we can go from there.
Well, I think it's important a lot of times to think about why you do a presentation, and I've had discussions with all of you about this, and that's why our MasterCoaches clinics have been conducted the way they've been conducted. But one of the reasons for the listeners out here, one of the reasons I want to do passing is I really believe everybody can pass a volleyball. I believe they can pass serve, and I believe there are various ways to teach that, but I've kind of gotten a method that I think every coach can use that will help each one of your student athletes to be able to pass serve. In some cases, you minimize the movements you ask the youngster to do, but in the very most important part is that they understand the technique you're advocating, how to execute the technique. And then depending upon their physical ability, you can either increase or decrease the movements. You can increase or decrease the focus of what movements they should make and what they shouldn't try to take on. And then you talk about the communication. So with that, my presentation will go through all of that. It'll be about 30 minutes, and then I'll finish with a number of live clips of top collegiate players either doing well with their execution or showing you how I might correct their technique when they do this. So that's the gist of the presentation that I put together, and I've seen you guys' presentations, and I'm excited to watch them from start to finish.
Mick, if I might add something, it's not my turn, but I was just thinking about what you said before the show. How about the opportunity for those people to watch all the sessions on passing, on first ball contact, and what they might learn?
Yeah, there's no question. There are 4 different presentations, and this is what I think is what's so important about this convention is that you can go in if you want to say, I just want to learn about serve receive. I want to, starting January or February, I want to be able to go into my gym, hopefully, and be able to teach passing, but I want to see what 4 different people say about passing. You have some of the best. You have a former national team coach. You have the national team coach. You have master coaches. You and I are doing a passing presentation. And I don't see how you can lose as a coach to really see what the top coaches are teaching and the coaches that have had good passers for years are doing with their teams, and then compare and then make your decision on how you're going to teach.
Okay,
Mick, I don't think you could have stated the purpose and the importance of the convention any better. That was perfectly stated. We all share your views, and I appreciate you saying that. Bob, you're doing you're part of this too. You got roped into this too, maybe, and tell me why you're doing it, and then tell me something about your blocking presentation.
Hey, wait, before you start, let's all admit that Kathy DeBoer rooked us into this. Remember, she said this is our payout. All right. Sorry, Bob.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all right.
Come on. We're
Now,
trying to be very honorable.
I don't look at it like
We're
Kathy
trying to be
roped us
honorable,
into it.
and you're throwing us under the bus here. Go, Bob. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I don't think, Kathy roped us in so much. She did ask us about doing it. And actually, answering your question, Brian, why am I doing it? Why are any of us doing it? I mean, it's a chance for us to give back to a sport we love and has been so much a part of our lives. And, and doing it for the AVCA, it's just, to me, it's the right thing to do. And if we can help some younger coaches, help some new coaches to the game, that's a great thing. So that's mainly the reason why, I have looked at it, and wanted to get involved. And now it's actually grown to much more than any of us thought. I think even Kathy thought of right in the beginning, because now so many coaches are involved, and this is becoming such a monumental clinic. I think it's just great to be part of it. My blocking presentation, I took the approach that I usually take in terms of teaching and coaching. I mean, I really broke things down to its simplest form. The old adage, keep it simple, stupid. I really believe there's a lot in that statement, and everything that I'm doing when I'm teaching is trying to make it, as simple as possible for an athlete to get information quickly and to be able to apply it to what they're doing. And that's pretty much what I've tried to do with the blocking presentation. Now, like Mick said, I'll start doing it where I'll be talking about the keys of blocking, all right, and we'll address those keys, and we'll do some demonstration of drills, watching some athletes execute those keys. And then we'll finish up with some live action, of some top collegiate play that I think you really see some outstanding, absolutely outstanding blocking at the end of the presentation. And interesting enough, because I've gone through this now, hours and hours putting it together. Ruth laughs because she put as many hours into it as I have. But actually, I found a couple of things. I don't want to tell the viewers it right now. I'd be real interested when we're actually in the clinic and people are watching that presentation, if they come up with the two takeaways I learned from doing that presentation and watching actually the comparison of the presentation and the live action.
Wow. I like that. Bob, oh yes, for sure. All right, Brian, who in the world wants to play defense? I mean, seriously, who in the world wants to play defense? It hurts. Flo used to tell me, Ruth, I don't think I want to play defense. And I said, why is that? She says, because it hurts every time you go to the floor. And I said, did you ever think of bending your knees at 6'5" so it doesn't hurt? So she says, oh, is that what I'm supposed to do? And I said, well, yeah, I think you've been told that. But Brian, what a great topic on defense. But also, what is it that you are still engaged actively, and we're always keeping you more engaged, and you're always getting more engaged, and now you want to do this show and this show. Why are you involved still in AVCA? Because you could be out on the beach and playing beach volleyball.
Yeah, now you're convincing me to stop doing this. I think I think you got something there. Ruth, how much does it cost to be a member of the AVCA?
Oh, depends on if it's $50 to $80, depending on if you're an individual, a team, or that.
Okay, so how much does it cost for a member to be in the clinic?
$249 if you take our code today and save $50. If you're a non-member, you save $150. And
if you
yes.
So I'm just trying to get the math together. So if I join the AVCA and then sign up for the convention, it's cheaper than signing up for the convention without being a member.
And it's $2.49 an hour for hearing the best coaches in the world.
So you could be a member of the AVCA, get all the benefits of it, and get into the convention cheaper.
Yes.
That sounds like, a pretty good sale,
No-brainer.
a pretty good deal. Yeah, like a no-brainer. Thank you.
Merry
Keep it
Christmas.
simple, stupid. Yeah.
There you go.
There, see?
Merry Christmas, I think.
I told everyone in our pre-production meeting that we should donate our salaries back to the AVCA, and then I realized we're not getting paid. But also the 100 coaches that are involved in this, 100 people are making presentations, and none of them are getting paid. That shows you the commitment by the wonderful people in volleyball that we all know, and we put our lives in this, that are so involved in this sport and willing to do this. Also, by the way, I think what a great way to have a convention given this year of COVID. You don't have to travel. Which is no risk. You don't have to pay for a hotel and an airplane given the way budgets are. You can get 100 hours in your living room. And I don't know if you could ever do any better than that. I mean, and the idea of putting this together, the skeleton crew at the AVCA doing this, they're tireless and they're working 24 hours a day to get this done. And so we're doing our small little part, and thank goodness for the AVCA and all the things they've done for me in particular, along with every other coach. But as far as my presentation, yeah, I see there's 4 blocking, 4 passing, and 1 defensive presentation.
So Flo was right.
Flo was right. I got to tell you a quick story. I coached Taiba Hanif, who was a wonderful person. And I brought her in as a freshman, and I would sneak in the gym trying to figure out how I was going to have those long levers play, especially passing and defense. And she became a primary passer and a great defensive player at 6'7". And I used to go in and stand on a chair before practice and see what perspective was like, because her legs were about as long as mine with a 12-inch chair that I was standing on. And I would go all over the court and stand on the chair and start bending my legs to see what it must be like. And I don't think I'd ever want to play defense from that position either. You know, yeah, volleyball, I always say this, but volleyball, whoever came up with it, it was really, they decided to pull a prank on us about volleyball because it could be the stupidest sport of all time. People are hitting the ball as hard as they can at us, and we have nothing to protect us except our own bodies. You know, give me a bat or a racket or something so when that ball comes, I can hit it back at them, you know, like tennis or baseball or cricket. You know, give me some defensive ability. And then they don't let us stop the ball. How foolish is that? I think the next rule should be to change it so that now we can challenge. We got a couple challenges. I think we should be able to catch the ball twice a game. Get everybody calm down, wait a minute, and then toss it to the setter. And I think that would make more sense. But the idea that we can't catch it, we can't dribble it, we can't slow it down, we don't have a racket or a bat, and all we have is our body is really fascinating to me as a coach. The body becomes the tool. The body becomes the instrument that we use because not only do we have to stop that ball, we need to manipulate it so that it goes where we want it to go. And that is an incredible challenge and maybe the most intriguing part of the game. And the other thing is, I always like the thing is, if you can see my hand, the game is played up here and it's won on the floor. You win the game on the floor and you play the game way up in the air. And I think whatever level you're at, if you're at the beginning level and everybody is not a very good hitter or blocker or server, the defense change is the difference. I think at the highest level where everybody can serve and block and defend, and spike the ball, defense is the difference maker. So I just think that it's very hard to learn. It's a lot of time that you have to put in for it. It's a lot of discipline and responsibility. But every great player that I coached really embraced their defense and really wanted to be a complete player and really show that they could play the game. And so I just really believe in it. And in 45 minutes, I'm not saving the world, but I can give you a few ideas and a few hints and a few things. And I did it, but Ruth was the one who cut it all up and put it together for me and did so much work, and I appreciate it. So, but that's that. And hopefully it'll help people, and hopefully people will sign up and watch it. And then that's just the beginning, and have master coaches come to your city, and we'll do a clinic and go well beyond that.
Okay, so you did the marketing part. Okay, Brian, good job. All right, Mick, we're going over to you to talk a little bit about next week before we close out.
Well, before I do that, I'm going to throw a couple of things back at Brian here. First of all, there are actually two other defensive presentations.
I was only kidding.
Let me throw this in. Brian is a veteran coach, proven at the highest level in the AVCA Hall of Fame, and the other two people are very, very good in their own right and are moving up the scale. We have first of all, Jen Flynn Oldenburg, the new coach at Ohio State. She's making a presentation that I think is pretty interesting because when Jen Flynn played, she was fun to watch and not fun to play against, if I remember right. And then Tama Mayashiro played for the University of Washington as a libero and now is with the national team. She's making a presentation also. And you have three different people making presentations from three different times here that I think I don't want to miss any of them because...
I hope they're not better than mine.
You have the advantage because you have experience. But anyway, I point that out, but because if I'm thinking about this virtual convention, how do I use this to make myself better? That's one concept. You pick an area, you listen to everybody that talks in that area, and you're going to get some information that absolutely will be some of the best you'll ever get. I'm going to do that, but I have a couple other ways I'm going to use the convention also, and I'll share those with you next week. But next week, I'm excited because we're bringing another AVCA past president on Beth Lemieux, head coach at the University of Utah, has written a book, and I don't know if it'll show up here or not,
There.
but it's, yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Now we can see it.
Stop competing and start winning. I got it in the mail yesterday. I'm on chapter 4 already, and I am glued to it for a couple of reasons. Beth, I competed against Beth when she first moved to the Pac-12 with Utah, and I wanted to see what she said about my team. So I'm really reading in here to try to see if what I thought she was doing and what she was trying to do are the same thing. But she has some tremendously good information to share in this book. And you remember Jeff Moore was with us, the national championship tennis coach, last week, and he basically said, let's start competing and stop trying to win. So I think we've got some interesting discussions here. Beth is going to be on the AVCA convention role here. We're excited about having her on our show beforehand. We'll ask her some key questions on what's happening, and throw it back to you, Ruth.
Okay, Mick, I was just getting ready to say, hey, we're running late here. However, the last 30 minutes, we're going to be out there. We're going to be talking more about the convention. But book your fall virtual clinics today for you, your team, or your coaches. Please head over to our Instagram account, VB Master Coaches, and click on our bio and click on the virtual clinic link, or you may scan our QR code that will take you directly to all of our information. If you're watching today, you can watch on our website live also. Our weekly buzz shows are on YouTube, and you may access these by going directly to our Instagram account, click on the link in our bio, and enjoy listening to leaders in our sport address current issues and trends. Follow us on Facebook, Volleyball Master Coaches, Instagram and Twitter, VB Master Coaches. And a best shout out to our partners, SNA Sports and Baden Sports. You may still register, as we said today, for the 2020 AVCA Virtual Convention by using the code 2020 MASTCH, which you will receive AVCA member early bird rate of $249, which is a $50 saving for the AVCA members and $150 savings for non-members, which provides you 100 hours of training. Or you can do the Brian Gimolero deal where you get your membership and you get the discount at the same time. All right, sign up today by going to avcaconvention.org and be sure to put in your 2020 MASTCH code for your discounted rate.